Hello and welcome to the Kundalini podcast. That was Zen. This is Tao. I'm Vivek Govika. Namaste. This is episode 110. And today I'm going to talk about a very interesting subject. Monotheism. Things that you understand because of gnosis after a Kundalini awakening allow you to see beyond the basics of history, beyond the basics of spirituality on a surface. For example, I was raised in a Hindu family and I also went to Catholic school, so it had a couple of different streams of influence that I was absorbing, whether I wanted to or not, absorbing knowledge from, right? And certain practices become normal for you. You know that this is a calendar, a cycle. You follow, let's say, Shivaratri, which is the night of Shiva, Mahashivaratri. And other festivals, right? You have your calendar. What did I see after the gnosis, after Kundalini awakening? I saw the unification of all those religious traditions and understanding that there is oneness. There is a divine entity, which is the oversoul, and we are all parts of that soul, and there is only oneness. Only the surface is different, like our bodies and apparent differences between people. But as I have explained in a video before, today it's a windy day. Wind is blowing really hard here in Malibu. So on a windy day like this, I can talk about the fact that, of course, I know air exists. So the molecules of whatever, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide exist, and they are showing a force blowing through them. So nothing is empty. Even what is empty space around me is one continuum of vibrations. Atoms that are not very densely packed become gases. Those that are slightly more densely packed become liquids, and those that are even more densely packed are solids. But nothing is empty, and it is filled with something. So you can understand oneness as all are vibrating atoms, molecules, other particles, which is on one continuum. And of that, the live representation that contains souls are living organisms, and the highest of that food chain, I guess, is the human being, which is capable of self-awareness and higher states of consciousness. So my higher state of consciousness, which is called gnosis, Gnosis, as I later realized, showed me certain things, connections between certain aspects of the divine, because you're in that high ascended state quite early into the process. When your Kundalini awakens, you first go to the highest state. At least that's my experience, and I've read a few people and their experiences. What it tells you is you have become one with everything, and you see that oneness because it's yourself that's ascended beyond your body, beyond the canvas that you painted on, so to speak. The body, this scenery, the ocean, the wind, the beach, and me as an entity, as a human organism living in this, all of which is transcendent, almost like you're at a higher level, bird's eye view, and you're looking down on everything combined with your life, your path from the past moving to the future, and your human existence. But you have transcended that level. There's a wonderful story about Albert Einstein. It is said that the discovery that he made, that Earth and the theory of relativity related to light, the speed of light, E equals mc squared, that's Einstein's equation. Here's what you realize when you see that discovery was amazing. Now, today's world is highly advanced, but it is all based on Einsteinian discoveries and also other people. So before that, the other person who had attempted to discuss our physical reality was Sir Isaac Newton, and he discovered gravity, which is if you drop a ball from up here and let it go, it just falls to the ground. It never goes upwards. And that's because of gravity. He discovered that as a force. Einsteinian physics completely changed the perception of gravity, because again, somebody had seen beyond the surface, and exactly the same Newtonian physics that lead to that ball falling down on Earth. Now you find that it becomes difficult for us to accept that as the final answer, Because now Einsteinian physics tells us something completely different. Einstein says that we have become entangled in a space-time curvature. So Earth being attracted to the moon or the sun and having a gravitational pull is a result of space-time continuum being warped as a result of that mass of that object really heavy, weighing down on the fabric of space-time. And as a result of that, tumbling down in that space-time curvature and following a certain path around that planet equivalent to its mass is because of that space-time curvature effect on that mass, nothing else. This is the difference between Einstein and Isaac Newton. So a new perception has been added to your reality. You don't just see gravity as Newtonian physics, even though that works. You see it beyond that. One more dimension has been added. So in the same way, when you have a Kundalini awakening, you get a bird's eye view, and one more dimension gets added to your usual human existence. And as a result of which, that oneness that you feel with the higher power, with the biggest soul, is now guiding every one of your actions. First of all, you've had the experience. You've had that experience of oneness. But you also had some experiences that now allow you to see with greater clarity what was being talked about in various scriptures, and you get a better idea of what's going on, better details. Right? Now, these details that you glean only after an awakening experience, after gnosis, help you lead the way, and different books, different scripture become clear. So, previously, if you have the Newtonian idea about the universe, now you have more of an Einsteinian understanding, more depth added to your understanding of, okay. And that happens due to the gnosis of your Kundalini spiritual experience. Even then, if you're not well prepared, like I was now, because I had it spontaneously, or it happened unknown to me, I was not following any certain practices that were conducive, specifically targeted towards Kundalini awakening. I just didn't know, and it was my time to awaken. So I did. Then I had to learn all the practices, and it was a very difficult process, dealing with the dark night of the soul and the different stages that you go through. And I had to suffer a lot before I found out, through trial and error, different methods that worked for me in the past and worked to this day. And then I had to update them based on each stage as I went from dark night of the soul, so negative stages, removing of my old life patterns and relationships, etc. And then going into a completely different reality and adjusting and transforming, guiding. There the gnosis helps. There it helps to have the guidance from the energy. But initially, surrendering to that higher energy becomes difficult. Obviously, if somebody got an awakening recently, different experience from people you have known in the past, that you're bewildered, you don't have all the knowledge, so you're guided in the right way by the energy itself, and then you have to follow along. You may not know the full answer, you may not know the final destination, but start taking the first few steps, and the path will become clear and clear. You need some faith to reduce your suspicions and caution about that energy, and do not feel negative about it when you first encounter this energy working through you. But that process of surrender, of ridding yourself of the ego and its promptings and what it wants to hold on to itself, to the self, and the selfish things about things, the light is creeping through the vents of windows that have been shut by the ego, and the soul finds a way to slowly open itself up to the light. Okay, one way of putting it. As a result of this, all of this process, the gnosis, the wonderful euphoria, the ecstasy of higher elevated senses, then you get a roadmap. You slowly come down, typically looking into a dimension pattern, until you realize your breath control, your mind under your own control, your senses under your own control, your libido not going haywire, and either other imaginations because of some blockage. I talked to a person recently who had a blockage of one part, and then I gave some breathing exercises and it did not instantly. That person became rid of negative thoughts, balance, and so on. I felt so happy. I can liken it to a process of discovering another dimension of the same things you thought had already been explained and more explained, which is why I give the example of Newtonian physics and Einsteinian physics. You can know a little bit more research to know exactly what I'm talking about. At the same time, you have to realize that this awakening, this process, will make you question all of your previously held assumptions. But it will do it gently. And unless you fulfill certain steps and certain requirements and don't find out exactly what you're doing, then after you do it, the other answer at the other end of that journey becomes obvious. Then you know, oh, this is why the energy told me to do this. This is why I was guided in that direction. After you realize that that is where it was, oh, there was certain step energy, it will create an then by and by you realize that your meditation and everything that you're doing helps you out. And now the new person can come more easily. The ego has loosened its grasp and your mantras and positive affirmations, everything works for you. So basically I try to explain how the Kundalini process works in your psyche. Now that you have ascended, touched that higher level, it brings you down, then you have to go through your cycles of whatever, depression, blockages, removal of them, however that process unfolds. But it's like a discovery of a whole new world, explained at a deeper level, where the previously known laws that you knew still work, but the explanation that you had before for those things was incomplete. And now you have more answers, and you have actually experienced the things mentioned in holy books, which you can then recognize as, oh, this is what it means. This is what that experience looked like, and I wasn't able to grasp it before. Now I've had this experience, and then the energy gently guides you. Your ego tries to resist. You know that it's in your best interest. A lot of toxicity has to be removed, like starting with your physical toxicity. Like if you are just a person eating a regular diet, has meat consumption, junk food, alcohol consumption, whatever else, unhealthy stuff, it has created an impact stored in your body, and suddenly your diet changes. You want more simpler things, digestible, easily digestible, fruit juices, etc. So you do a cleanse. I've done that a few times by just doing a juice diet and taking some things that will help cleanse the toxins from your body. Similarly, you do a detox of your viewing habits. If you're watching too much violent stuff or something that is not harmonious, pleasant with the awakening journey, the kind of music you listen to, the kind of people you hang out with, all of it will change. The energy will prompt you, and initially it will be difficult, but then as you do it gradually, more and more, that becomes part of your routine, and layers upon layers are discarded. A new you emerges almost on a regular basis, like a daily basis, if the right conditions are met. In my case, the energy keeps moving in my back at all times. And I can sense, if everything has gone well, I can sense with a sense of newer being unveiled, newer personality that is now uncovered, and old layers have been removed. Traumatic patterns don't repeat themselves, even if they do. It's a very faint echo of the previous patterns. They're not as strong, they don't guide your actions, they don't become your character, because you have learned to gradually wean yourself away from that and help the ego to dissolve and with the energy to express more and more of itself. That's the best way I can put it about how to experience this awakening, what happens during that, and the transformed product, what I've been going through now for about 15 years, is this, like where I'm approaching closer to who the final person will become. And older person within you, the personality is completely eliminated. I hope that was helpful. Please click like, subscribe, and leave comments. God bless you all. Be well.